My son Jerry is 12. He's amazing. He's so smart and so kind. I'm beginning to see the hints of the man he's about to become, and I'm so proud of him. But he's still a kid, and a kid who absolutely is obsessed with Marvel Comics. He knows everything about every comic ever written. He knows the characters, he knows the development, he knows who illustrated, who drew it, who wrote it. He can go on and on and on about Marvel Comics. But he's at an important part of his life. Like at 12, 14, you remember that. You're learning how to be independent. You're disconnecting from your parents in a way that is painful to the mother. But, he needs to do that. And I realize that because I remember 12, I was really concerned about how I looked. I used to stuff clothes into my backpack to wear at school that my mom would have never let me wear, because I really wanted to be like those women I saw in Dynasty. I wanted to wear makeup and be sexy, right, and have people want me, even though I had really no idea what sexy meant. And I really deep down just wanted to be at home playing with my Barbies. But 12, unfortunately, is another important milestone in the work I do. It's the average age of entry into commercial sexual exploitation, sex trafficking. 12 is the average age of entry. 12, a sixth grader. And this is a huge problem right now, mostly because of technology. Your phones, those smartphones, there are apps that traffickers have developed that let them talk to each other and let them share their property. So they're harder to find. It's easier for them to get away. And the numbers are going crazy. 914% increase in child prostitution. Though a child cannot be a prostitute, they are a victim, an absolute victim. And it's not just a problem in other parts of the world. It's here. It's going on right now. Before I stepped on this stage, I had to take a call from a client because she thinks her friend is being trafficked. A stranger has gotten her a ticket to Hong Kong to leave tomorrow. So I'm quick contacting the police because every day in Minnesota, 213 girls, at 5 times a night or day, at $50, we're over $1.6 million in a commodity that's being sold. And for me, this is very concerning because my community is only 2% of this population less. But we're 75% of the cases that Minneapolis investigates. Now, why is that? How is that happening? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have the highest numbers of homelessness and poverty, too. And sometimes mothers have to make a difficult decision between sleeping outside at 40 below and dying or having a warm place to sleep and having somewhere for her kids. My community has been under attack for 500 years. Through genocide, through colonization, and it has led to this vulnerability within us and a normalization of violence. 1 in 3 Native women are sexually assaulted in their lifetime. That's the reported numbers. The numbers themselves are far higher. And so there's a multi-generational effect. Mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-grandmother. Say, it's okay, you'll get over it, I did. I hear that all the time. And so these victims are targeted all over. The Mall of America, the trains, they're targeted at schools with other students recruiting them. And these traffickers are really vile because they make these young people fall in love with them. And do you remember being 14, that first intense love? Oh man, I would have done anything for him, right? I used to make those, mixtapes. You know what I'm talking about, right? And so they don't want saved. They're in love. They're helping. They're doing what they can. They don't trust anyone. Many of them come from broken families. They have nowhere to go home. There's also fear, there's shame. They're afraid of what their trafficker or boyfriend is going to do to their friends. And so they stay. So what can you do to stop this? Well, these are all good ideas, but the most important one for me is men. You can stop trafficking because you are the #1 buyer and seller. That is just the facts. Race aside, men could stop trafficking. And when you see images like this, call it out, because that is why we become invisible. We become comics. We become cartoons. We are people. And you can exploit people who are invisible very easily. Now, my children, I want them to grow up in a time when those images you just saw aren't even around. because my kids deserve to be 12 and to have the freedom to just be a kid. Right now, there's a 12-year-old being sold. So please try to do something and help. Thank you.